Hello, what's up guys? Today's video, I'm going to be doing my playoff predictions for 2024. First up, you got the number 1 seed, Kyle Larson, who won at Las Vegas, Kansas, Sonoma, and the Brickyard 400. Next, you got Christopher Bell, the 2 seed, who won at Phoenix, the Coke 600, and New Hampshire. Then the number 3 seed, Tyler Reddick, who won Talladega and Michigan, and is also the regular season champion. Next up, you got William Byron, who won the Daytona 500, Circuit of the Americas, and Martinsville. Then you got the first Ford, Ryan Blaney, who won at Iowa and Pocono. Then it's Denny Hamlin, who should be higher if it wasn't for that penalty. He's won Bristol, Martinsville, and Dover. Then Mr. Consistency, Chase Elliott, only one win at Texas, but a ton of top 20s. Then Brad Keselowski, who finally ended his winless streak, winning at Darlington. Now for the bottom half of the playoffs, you got Joey Logano, who won at Nashville, and also should have won Richmond. And his teammate, Austin Cindric, who passed Ryan Blaney at Gateway after he ran out of fuel to win. Then you got Daniel Suarez, who won that crazy 3-wide photo finish at Atlanta. Alex Bowman, the 4th Hendrick car, who won on the Chicago Street Course. Chase Briscoe, who won his way into the playoffs in the Southern 500 last week. Then you got Harrison Burton, aka Jeff's little boy, who won at Daytona to get the Wood Brothers back in the playoffs, and their 100th win. Now the final 2 drivers in who did not win are Ty Gibbs and Martin Truex Jr. Going into the first round, as long as you're a high seed, all you need to do is just finish the races, maybe like top 20s. So, I believe there are 5, maybe 6 drivers who are locks to make the next round, and that's Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and maybe William Byron if he gets it going. Also, having all these underdogs in it make it a little bit easier for them too. CapCut doesn't have a good sticker or whatever for like a check mark, so instead I'm just going to put these little weird green things. Anyways, Kyle Larson as the number 1 seed, you'd think would be a lock, but with Atlanta in the playoffs this year, he's not really great at Atlanta or super speedways in general. But he has Bristol and Watkins Glen, so I think he will make it through. Kinda like Kyle Larson, you got Brad Keselowski, but instead of Atlanta, it's Watkins Glen. He's good at Atlanta and Bristol, but I think he can do good enough there to hold at Watkins Glen and still make the next round. Joey Logano, as long as he doesn't wreck himself at Atlanta, I think he's good enough at Watkins Glen and Bristol to make the next round. Another driver, he's been kind of quiet recently, but Ty Gibbs, he's really good at Watkins Glen, Bristol, and Atlanta. So even though he's down on points, I think he will be able to make it through. Yes, Daniel Suarez won at Atlanta, and yes, Harrison Burton won at Daytona, which are super speedways, but I don't see them backing it up, and I think they just won't have the skill or playoff points to make it into the next round. So now we got 4. 2 are going to be in, 2 are going to be out. This is where it gets really tough, I believe, but I think Alex Bowman, with the Hendrick support, will make it through. Now, looking at these 3 drivers, Martin Truex is good at Watkins Glen, but hit or miss at Bristol and Atlanta. Chase Briscoe, I just don't feel like he has the speed of the 2. But these 3 tracks, statistically at least, are pretty good for Austin Cindric. So I believe he'll be the underdog that makes it into the round of 12. As much as I want to see Truex in his final season get out of the round of 16, and Chase Briscoe in Stewart-Haas Racing's final season, I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. Now, the round of 12. It's not as easy in the round of 12 to call people locks, especially with how competitive this field is. But Tyler Reddick, I think he's the first driver I have getting through. He's really good at Kansas, really good at the Roval, and he won Talladega earlier this year, so that's about a guarantee for me. Next up, I got Bell making it through. He's also good at Kansas and the Roval, but Talladega, anything can happen. he's got a lot of playoff points to bank on, so I got him going to the round of 8. With how crazy the round of 12 normally is, all you need is consistent results, and no one better than that than Chase Elliott. I believe Chase Elliott will make it through. Also, Hamlin, losing those playoff points isn't going to help, but he's good at the Roval, good at Kansas, good at Dega when he doesn't get wrecked, so I think he'll be in. Those are really the only 4 I feel super confident in, but the 5th one I'm going to put through is Ryan Blaney. He's normally good at Talladega. He won this race last year. He won his first race at the Charlotte Roval, and he's decent at Kansas, so I think he'll be through. William Byron, he's normally good at avoiding wrecks, and he's also good at the Roval, and decent enough at Kansas with Hendrick, so I think he'll be through. Same as round 1 for number 1 seed Kyle Larson. Just has to get through Talladega. But then he's good at Kansas. He won there earlier this year, and the Roval. Plus, he's the number 1 seed. Now we're down to 5 again. I think I can eliminate Cindric and Gibbs just because I don't think they have the experience as well as the playoff points to back them up. So I think they'll be out. Once again, it's down to 3, which I think are hard to decide between. But looking at it, Kansas, they all are going to be, they're not going to be great, but they're going to be decent. Maybe like top 10, top 15. But Brad Keselowski, he's good at Talladega, but not really the Roval. Bowman's good at the Roval, but not really Talladega. And Joey Logano's good at both, so I believe he will make it through to the round of 8. Now, the round of 8. First up, with no super speedway, I think Kyle Larson's going to be a lock. 3 wins at Las Vegas. Really good at Miami, and also really good at Martinsville. Oh yeah, and he's the number 1 seed. Next up, I got Reddick in the championship 4. Not as good as Larson, but he's really good at Miami and Vegas. Not so much at Martinsville, but I think he can get through. Then I got Bell, who's also good at these 3 tracks, and he's the number 2 seed. I feel like it always comes down to 5, but I think these 5 are really even. William Byron, we don't know how good he's going to be in the playoffs. He's really good at the start of the season. Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. Team Penske always turns it on this time of the year. Denny Hamlin, also really good in the beginning of the year, but kind of fell off as it goes. And Chase Elliott's been really consistent. Alright, let me think for a second. What year is it again? 2024? That's an even year. Joey Logano's going to the championship 4. Okay, I know I'm a Joey Logano fan, but these 3 tracks are pretty good for him. And Team Penske always gets good around this time of the year. You might be thinking, well, what about Blaney? But I can go either way between them. But I believe in patterns, so I think Joey Logano is going to be in over Ryan Blaney this year. William Byron, I don't know. He was good at the start of the season, but as the year's gone on, he just has kind of not really fallen off, but just got not championship 4 speed. So, I don't know. If he goes crazy in the playoffs like he normally does, maybe we could see him in the championship 4. His teammate, Chase Elliott, kind of the opposite. He's been really, really consistent, but he just doesn't have the winning speed I think you need to make the championship 4. But, so, if nobody wins out of the championship 4 in the final round, I could see Chase Elliott making it in. And Denny Hamlin, they always seem to find a way to lose it, or at least choke it in the championship 4. And I believe Joey Logano winning one of the 3 tracks is what's gonna knock him out. Alright, now the championship 4. So, immediately, I'm gonna say Logano. I don't know what he has to do to get this far, but Ford just isn't that good at Phoenix, at least earlier this year. I don't see him winning the championship. Even as a Joey Logano fan, I don't see him really having a chance. But now these next 3, I really can't decide between. Of these 3, Kyle Larson has the highest average finish at Phoenix. So, some could say maybe him. But earlier this year, Toyota was good at Phoenix. Christopher Bell won, and I believe Tyler Reddick led the most laps. So I think I'm going to put it between Bell and Reddick. Now, I don't know if this is just a coincidence, but I feel like every time it's a driver's first time in the championship 4, they normally win it. Like Blaney did, Larson did, Elliott did. But at the same time, you could say, well, maybe that's pressure and they don't know what to do in that situation. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell, he's been to both next gen Phoenix finales. So Joe Gibbs Racing and the Christopher Bell team, they definitely know a lot more about what to expect. And he won there earlier this year, so I don't think he's gonna win, but I'm gonna say Christopher Bell will win the championship at Phoenix. And they say third time's the charm, so hopefully that's true for Bell. Plus, I think Joe Gibbs Racing, just overall, as a team, is better than 23XI. So yeah, Bell, I believe, will win the championship. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And if you want, you can leave your bracket down below. I'll most likely go back and watch this after the season to see what I got right and what I got wrong. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.